Welcome back to our channel. Let me ask you a simple question. Do you believe you can become fluent in English without a teacher, without a classroom, and without living in an English-speaking country? Most people would say no. That is why millions of learners stay stuck. They keep waiting for the perfect teacher, the perfect course, or the perfect opportunity. But the truth is that some of the best English learners in the world learned mostly by themselves, right from their own homes. They did not have special talent. They did not have perfect conditions. What they had was consistency, daily practice, and the willingness to keep going. In today's video, I will show you exactly how to learn English alone at home, step by step. You will learn how to create an English environment, improve your vocabulary, practice speaking without a partner, build powerful daily habits, and become fluent using simple methods that actually work. If you follow these lessons consistently, your home can become the most powerful English classroom you have ever had. So stay with me until the end, because this video could completely change the way you learn English forever. Now let's begin. Part 1. Why you don't need a classroom to learn English. Let me start with a simple question. How many times have you told yourself, I can't learn English because I don't have a teacher? I can't learn English because I don't go to an English-speaking country. I can't learn English because I don't have a classroom. Millions of people believe these things. They think that fluency is only possible if they have expensive courses, private teachers, or a perfect learning environment. Because of this belief, they wait. They wait for the right teacher. They wait for the right course. They wait for the right opportunity. They wait for the perfect moment. And while they are waiting, months and years pass. The truth is that waiting is often the biggest reason people never become fluent. Here is something important to understand. A classroom can help you learn English. A teacher can help you learn English. But neither of them can learn English for you. At the end of the day, fluency is built by your daily habits. Not by a building, not by a classroom, not by a certificate, not by a course. It is built by what you do every single day. Think about this. Many people attend English classes for years, yet they still struggle to speak confidently. At the same time, many people learn English at home and become fluent. Why? Because fluency is not created by sitting in a classroom. Fluency is created by consistent exposure and practice. Imagine two learners. The first learner attends an English class for 2 hours every week. Outside the classroom, they rarely think about English. They rarely listen to English. They rarely read English. They rarely speak English. The second learner studies alone at home. Every day they listen to English. Every day they read something in English. Every day they practice speaking. Every day they spend time with the language. After 1 year, who do you think will improve more? In many cases, it will be the second learner, because learning happens through contact with the language. The more contact you have, the more progress you make. This is one of the biggest secrets of language learning. English is not a subject you memorize. English is a skill you develop. Think about learning to play the guitar. Could you become a great guitarist by attending one lesson every week and never touching the guitar at home? Of course not. You would need daily practice. You would need repetition. You would need patience. English works exactly the same way. Many learners believe they need perfect conditions before they begin. They say, I'll start when I find the right teacher. I'll start when I buy the right course. I'll start when I have more time. The problem is that perfect conditions rarely arrive. The people who succeed usually start with what they already have. They use the resources available to them. They learn one step at a time. They focus on progress rather than perfection. Another important truth is that your home can become an English learning environment. You do not need a classroom to surround yourself with English. You can listen to English while walking. You can listen while cleaning. You can listen while exercising. You can read English articles. You can watch English videos. You can think in English. You can talk to yourself in English. All of these activities can happen right inside your home. The beautiful thing about learning at home is flexibility. You control your schedule. You control your pace. You choose what interests you. You are not limited to a classroom timetable. You can create an English lifestyle. And that is where real fluency begins. Many learners underestimate the power of small daily actions. Imagine spending just 30 minutes every day learning English. 30 minutes may not sound impressive, but 30 minutes every day becomes 3.5 hours every week, more than 15 hours every month, nearly 200 hours every year. That is powerful. Small efforts become massive results when repeated consistently. The problem is that many people want quick results. They want fluency in a few weeks. They want confidence immediately. When progress feels slow, they become discouraged. But language learning is not a race. It is a journey. The people who become fluent are usually not the most talented. They are the most consistent. They continue learning when motivation disappears. They continue practicing when progress feels slow. They continue showing up day after day. This consistency creates results. Another reason learning at home is effective is that it teaches independence. Instead of depending on a teacher for everything, you learn how to learn. You become responsible for your own growth. You develop discipline. You develop self-confidence. You learn how to solve problems. These skills help not only your English, but every area of your life. Imagine looking back 1 year from now. Imagine that you spent a little time with English every day. Listening, reading, speaking, learning. Where could your English be? How much more confident could you become? How many conversations could you have? How many opportunities could open for you? The answer depends on what you do today. Not next month, not next year, today. Because fluency is not built in a classroom. Fluency is built through daily habits. And those habits can begin right where you are. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for someone to save you. Stop waiting for the perfect course. Start using what you have. Start learning where you are. Start building your English one day at a time. Because your home can become the place where your English journey truly begins. And the moment you take responsibility for your own learning is the moment your progress starts accelerating. Part 2. Create your English environment at home. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with English is that they only study English for a short time and then spend the rest of the day surrounded by their native language. Imagine learning how to swim for 30 minutes and then staying out of the water for the rest of the week. Your progress would be very slow. The same thing happens with English. Many learners study English for 20 or 30 minutes and then completely disconnect from the language. As a result, their brain does not get enough exposure. This is why creating an English environment at home is so powerful. The good news is that you do not need to move to another country. You do not need expensive courses. You do not need native speakers living in your house. You simply need to bring more English into your daily life. Think about how children learn their first language. They do not learn through grammar books. They learn because they are surrounded by the language all day. They hear it. They see it. They use it. Their environment teaches them. You can create a similar environment for yourself at home. Let's start with listening. Listening is one of the easiest ways to surround yourself with English. Many people underestimate how powerful listening can be. Your brain learns patterns even when you are not actively studying. Listen while walking. Listen while exercising. Listen while cleaning your room. Listen while cooking. Listen while traveling. Turn ordinary moments into English learning moments. At first, you may not understand everything. That is completely normal. Do not stop listening just because you miss some words. Focus on understanding the general meaning. The more you listen, the easier it becomes. Think of listening like filling a glass with water. Each listening session adds a little more. One day, the glass becomes full, and suddenly you realize that you understand much more than before. Now, let's talk about reading. Reading is another powerful way to create an English environment. Many learners think they need difficult books. That is not true. Start with simple material. Read short articles. Read easy stories. Read simple conversations. Read topics that interest you. The goal is not to impress anyone. The goal is to build familiarity with English. When you read every day, you begin seeing common words and sentence patterns again and again. Over time, those patterns become natural. You stop translating everything. You start understanding directly. That is a huge step toward fluency. Now let's discuss something many learners ignore. Think in English. This habit can completely transform your progress. Most learners spend years translating. They think in their native language first. Then they try to convert everything into English. This process is slow and exhausting. Instead, start training your brain to think directly in English. When you wake up, say to yourself, I need to get out of bed. I am going to brush my teeth. I am making breakfast. These are simple thoughts, but they train your brain to operate in English. As you improve, your thoughts can become longer. You can describe your plans. You can describe your surroundings. You can talk about your goals. The more you think in English, the less you depend on translation. And the less you translate, the more fluent you become. Another powerful habit is changing your digital environment. Most people spend hours every day using their phones. Why not turn some of that time into English practice? Use English whenever possible. Read English content. Watch English videos. Listen to English podcasts. Follow English learning channels. Your phone can become one of your greatest learning tools. The key is intentional exposure. Many learners say, I don't have enough time. But often the problem is not time. The problem is environment. If English is only a small part of your day, progress will be slow. If English becomes part of your lifestyle, progress will accelerate. Let's imagine two learners. The first learner studies English for 30 minutes and then forgets about it. The second learner studies for 30 minutes too. But they also listen to English while walking. They read a few pages every day. They think in English. They watch English content. Which learner receives more exposure? the second learner. And exposure is one of the biggest keys to language learning. The more your brain sees and hears English, the more familiar it becomes. And familiar things feel easier. Another important point is consistency. Do not try to create a perfect English environment overnight. Start small. Add one habit, then another, then another. Small changes are easier to maintain. For example, listen to 10 minutes of English every day. Read one page every day. Think in English for 5 minutes every day. These habits may seem small, but repeated over months, they create remarkable results. Many people fail because they try to do too much too quickly. They become overwhelmed. Then they quit. Instead, focus on sustainability. Build habits you can continue for months and years. Remember, fluency is not created by occasional effort. Fluency is created by daily exposure. Every word you hear matters. Every sentence you read matters. Every thought in English matters. Every minute spent with the language matters. So transform your home into an English environment. Fill your day with English. Surround yourself with the language. Allow English to become part of your daily routine. Because the more English becomes part of your life, the less it feels like studying and the more it feels natural. And that is exactly where fluency begins. Part 3. Learn vocabulary the smart way. One of the biggest mistakes English learners make is trying to memorize hundreds of random words every week. They open a vocabulary book. They write down long lists of words. They spend hours memorizing definitions. A few days later, they forget most of what they learned. Then they become frustrated and think, "My memory is bad. I can't remember vocabulary. Learning English is too difficult." But the problem is usually not memory. The problem is the method. The truth is that vocabulary is not meant to be memorized in isolation. Vocabulary is meant to be used. Think about your native language. Did you learn thousands of individual words from a dictionary? Of course not. You learned words through situations, conversations, stories, and daily life. That is exactly how English vocabulary should be learned. Instead of learning random words, focus on useful words that you can actually use every day. For example, many learners know difficult words like magnificent, extraordinary, phenomenon, but they struggle with simple everyday expressions such as, "I am running late." That makes sense. "I am looking forward to it." "Can you help me?" These simple phrases are far more useful in daily conversations. If your goal is fluency, focus on useful English first. Learn the language that real people use every day. Another important secret is this: learn phrases, not just words. Many learners study vocabulary one word at a time. For example, they learn the word decision, but they do not learn how the word is actually used. A better approach is learning complete phrases. I made a decision. That was a difficult decision. I need to make a decision soon. Now you are learning vocabulary and sentence structure at the same time. This makes speaking much easier. Think about building a house. Individual words are like bricks. Phrases are like ready-made walls. If you learn enough phrases, speaking becomes much faster and more natural. That is why fluent speakers often speak in chunks of language rather than creating every sentence from scratch. Let's imagine you learn these phrases. To be honest. As far as I know. In my opinion. At the moment. That sounds great. You can use these phrases in countless conversations. They become tools that help you express yourself more naturally. Another powerful strategy is learning vocabulary through context. Context means seeing words inside real sentences and real situations. For example, imagine you see this sentence: I missed the bus this morning. Even if you do not know the word missed, you can often guess its meaning from the situation. This type of learning is powerful because your brain remembers stories and situations better than isolated definitions. That is why reading is so important. Every article, every conversation, every story, every book provides context for vocabulary, and context makes words easier to remember. Now let's talk about repetition. Many learners encounter a new word once and expect to remember it forever. Unfortunately, the brain does not work that way. Most vocabulary needs repeated exposure. You need to see it again, hear it again, read it again, use it again. Each encounter strengthens the memory. Think of vocabulary as a path through a forest. The first time you walk the path, it is difficult. The path is unclear, but each time you walk it, the path becomes easier to follow. Eventually, it becomes familiar. Vocabulary works exactly the same way. Repeated exposure creates strong memories. This is why daily English exposure is so important. The more you listen and read, the more opportunities you have to encounter useful vocabulary repeatedly. Now let's discuss active vocabulary and passive vocabulary. Passive vocabulary consists of words you understand when reading or listening. Active vocabulary consists of words you can actually use when speaking. Many learners have large passive vocabularies but small active vocabularies. They recognize many words but cannot use them comfortably. The solution is simple. Use the words you learn. Create sentences. Speak them aloud. Write them down. Describe your day using new vocabulary. The goal is to move words from passive knowledge to active use. For example, if you learn the word improve, do not stop there. Say, I want to improve my English. I am improving every day. This book helped me improve. The more you use a word, the more natural it becomes. Another mistake learners make is trying to learn too many words at once. Quality is more important than quantity. Learning 10 useful words deeply is often better than memorizing 100 words superficially. Focus on words that match your daily life. Words related to work, family, food, travel, hobbies, learning, daily activities. These words will appear frequently in conversations. And because you use them often, they become easier to remember. Imagine learning English for 6 months. One learner memorizes thousands of rare words. Another learner masters common daily vocabulary and phrases. Who will communicate more effectively? Usually the second learner, because communication depends on useful language, not impressive language. Remember, fluency is not about knowing the most words. Fluency is about using the right words comfortably and naturally. So stop chasing complicated vocabulary. Focus on useful vocabulary. Learn phrases instead of isolated words. Learn through context. Review regularly. Use new words immediately. And trust the process, because every useful word you learn becomes another tool for expressing your thoughts. And little by little, those tools help you build real English fluency right from your home. Part 4. Improve your speaking without a partner. One of the most common excuses English learners use is, I don't have anyone to speak English with. Many people believe that they cannot improve their speaking until they find a speaking partner, a teacher, or a native speaker. Because of this belief, they wait. They wait for the perfect partner. They wait for the perfect opportunity. They wait for someone to practice with. Meanwhile, months and even years pass without much speaking practice. The truth is that you can improve your speaking skills even when you are completely alone. In fact, some of the most successful English learners spent months practicing by themselves before they ever had real conversations. The secret is understanding that speaking is a skill, and skills improve through practice. Let's start with one of the most powerful techniques: talking to yourself. At first, this may sound strange. Many learners feel uncomfortable with the idea. But self-talk is one of the best ways to build speaking confidence. Why? Because there is no pressure. Nobody is judging you. Nobody is correcting you. Nobody is laughing at your mistakes. You are free to practice. Imagine waking up in the morning. Instead of thinking in silence, start describing your actions in English. Say, I am getting out of bed. I am going to brush my teeth. I am making breakfast. I need to start my work. These simple sentences train your brain to think and speak in English. The goal is not perfection. The goal is practice. As your confidence grows, your sentences can become longer. You can talk about your plans, your goals, your opinions, your experiences. The more you talk, the more natural English becomes. Now let's discuss mirror practice. This is one of the most effective speaking exercises you can do at home. Stand in front of a mirror. Look at yourself. Then start speaking. Talk about your day. Introduce yourself. Describe your plans. Explain your goals. Tell a story. Pretend you are speaking to another person. Mirror practice helps in several ways. First, it builds confidence. Many learners feel nervous when speaking because they are not used to seeing themselves communicate. Mirror practice helps remove that discomfort. Second, it improves body language. You become more aware of your facial expressions, your eye contact, your posture. These things affect communication more than many learners realize. Third, it prepares you for real conversations. The more comfortable you become speaking alone, the easier it becomes to speak with others. Another powerful technique is shadowing. Shadowing is simple but extremely effective. Choose a short English audio. Listen carefully. Then immediately repeat what you hear. Try to copy the speaker's pronunciation. Copy their rhythm. Copy their intonation. Copy their speed. Imagine learning music. Musicians often learn by copying experienced performers. English learners can do the same. Shadowing trains your ears and your mouth at the same time. It teaches you how English sounds naturally. It helps reduce translation. And it improves pronunciation. At first, shadowing may feel difficult. You may miss words. You may struggle to keep up. That is normal. Keep practicing. Your ability will improve with time. Now let's talk about recording yourself. Many learners avoid this exercise because they do not like hearing their own voice. But recording yourself is one of the fastest ways to improve. Choose a simple topic. For example, my daily routine, my favorite hobby, my future goals. Speak for 1 or 2 minutes. Record your voice, then listen carefully. You may notice pronunciation mistakes. You may notice hesitation. You may notice areas that need improvement. This feedback is valuable. It helps you identify weaknesses. And once you identify weaknesses, you can improve them. Another benefit of recording yourself is motivation. If you save your recordings, you can compare them later. Imagine recording yourself today, then recording yourself again 6 months later. The difference may surprise you. You will hear your progress. You will hear your confidence growing. You will hear your fluency improving. That evidence can be incredibly motivating. Now let's discuss storytelling. Storytelling is one of the best speaking exercises for learners. Choose a simple story. Perhaps something that happened today. Perhaps a childhood memory. Perhaps a movie you watched. Tell the story in English. Do not worry about perfection. Focus on communication. Storytelling forces you to connect ideas. It helps you practice longer sentences. It helps you build fluency. The more stories you tell, the more comfortable speaking becomes. Another powerful habit is answering questions aloud. Ask yourself simple questions such as, what did I do today? What are my goals? What do I enjoy doing? What did I learn this week? Then answer in English. This exercise simulates real conversation. And because you create both the question and the answer, you can practice anytime. The biggest mistake many learners make is waiting until they feel ready. They believe confidence comes first. Then speaking comes later. The truth is usually the opposite. Speaking comes first. Confidence comes later. Every time you speak, you build experience. Every time you build experience, you build confidence. Every time you build confidence, speaking becomes easier. Remember, you do not need a partner to start speaking. You do not need a classroom. You do not need perfect conditions. You already have everything you need to begin. Your voice, your mind, your willingness to practice. Use them. Talk to yourself. Practice in front of a mirror. Use shadowing. Record yourself. Tell stories. Answer questions. Speak every day. Because fluency is not built by waiting. Fluency is built by speaking. And the more you speak, the closer you get to becoming the confident English speaker you want to be. One day, the conversations that seem difficult today will feel completely natural. And it all starts with the simple decision to open your mouth and practice, even when you are alone. Part 5. Build daily English habits that actually work. If there is one secret that separates fluent English speakers from struggling learners, it is not talent. It is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is not a special course. The secret is daily habits. Many people believe fluency comes from studying English for long hours once in a while. They study for 3 or 4 hours on one day. Then they do nothing for the next week. After that, they wonder why their progress is slow. The truth is that languages are learned through consistency, not intensity. 30 minutes every day is often more powerful than 5 hours once a week. Why? Because your brain learns through repeated exposure. The more often you interact with English, the stronger your English becomes. Think about brushing your teeth. You do not brush your teeth for 10 hours on Sunday and then ignore them for the rest of the week. You do it every day. Small daily actions create long-term results. English works exactly the same way. The goal is not to study English occasionally. The goal is to make English part of your daily life. Let's begin with the first habit. Daily listening. Listening is one of the most important habits you can build. Many learners underestimate its power. Every time you listen to English, your brain absorbs pronunciation, rhythm, vocabulary, sentence structures, and natural expressions. You do not need to understand everything. In fact, understanding every word is not necessary. Focus on understanding the main idea. Listen every day. Even 10 or 15 minutes can make a difference. Imagine listening to English for 15 minutes every day. After 1 year, that becomes more than 90 hours of exposure. That is powerful. The second habit is daily reading. Reading helps you encounter vocabulary and sentence patterns repeatedly. It strengthens your understanding of how English works. Many learners think they need difficult books. You do not. Read simple material. Read stories. Read articles. Read conversations. Read topics that interest you. The most important thing is consistency. Even one page every day creates progress. Over time, your vocabulary grows naturally. Your understanding improves, and English begins to feel more familiar. The third habit is daily speaking. This is the habit many learners avoid. They wait until they feel confident. But confidence comes from speaking, not before speaking. Speak every day. Talk about your routine. Describe your plans. Explain your goals. Practice self-talk. Use mirror practice. Record yourself. The specific method matters less than the habit itself. Every sentence you speak strengthens your speaking ability. Every minute of speaking helps reduce fear. Every conversation with yourself builds fluency. The fourth habit is daily thinking in English. This habit is simple but powerful. Most learners constantly translate. They think in their native language first. Then they try to convert everything into English. This process slows communication. Instead, start thinking directly in English. Look around your room and describe what you see. Think about your plans in English. Describe your day in English. Talk to yourself mentally in English. At first, your thoughts will be simple. That is okay. Simple thoughts eventually become complex thoughts. The more you think in English, the less you depend on translation. And the less you translate, the more fluent you become. The fifth habit is reviewing vocabulary. Many learners learn new words but never review them. As a result, they quickly forget. Review helps move vocabulary from short-term memory into long-term memory. You do not need complicated systems. Simply revisit words regularly. Use them in sentences. Read them again. Speak them again. The goal is repeated exposure. Remember, vocabulary grows through use, not memorization alone. Now let's talk about something extremely important. Do not try to do everything perfectly. Many learners create impossible study plans. They promise themselves, I will study 3 hours every day. I will learn 50 words every day. I will never miss a day. A few days later, reality arrives. The plan becomes overwhelming. Motivation disappears. And they quit. A smaller plan that you follow consistently is much better than a perfect plan you abandon. For example, 15 minutes of listening, 10 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of speaking, every day. This simple routine can create enormous results over time. Success in English is often boring. It is not dramatic. It is not exciting every day. It is simply showing up repeatedly. Day after day, week after week, month after month. Many learners quit because they expect rapid transformation. But fluency is usually built quietly. You may not notice progress immediately, yet every listening session matters. Every page matters. Every sentence matters. Every habit matters. Imagine building a wall. 1 brick seems insignificant. 2 bricks seem insignificant. 10 bricks seem insignificant. But eventually, a wall appears. Fluency is built the same way. 1 listening session, 1 page, 1 conversation, 1 habit, repeated consistently. Another important point is tracking your habits. Keep a simple record. Mark each day you practice. This creates accountability. It also helps you see your consistency. Motivation comes and goes, but habits remain. That is why habits are more powerful than motivation. Do not depend on feeling inspired. Depend on your routine. There will be days when you feel excited. There will be days when you do not. Practice anyway. There will be days when progress feels obvious. There will be days when progress feels invisible. Practice anyway. There will be days when English feels easy. There will be days when it feels difficult. Practice anyway. Because the learners who become fluent are not the learners who never struggle. They are the learners who keep showing up. So build your daily habits. Listen every day. Read every day. Speak every day. Think in English every day. Review regularly. Stay consistent. And trust the process. Because fluency is not built through one amazing study session. Fluency is built through hundreds of ordinary days of practice. And those ordinary days eventually create extraordinary results. Part 6. The secret to becoming fluent at home. We have talked about creating an English environment, learning vocabulary, improving speaking, and building daily habits. Now it is time for the most important lesson of all. The secret to becoming fluent at home. Many learners believe fluency is a mystery. They think fluent speakers know something they do not know. They think there must be a hidden technique, a special course, or a secret shortcut. But after studying thousands of successful English learners, one truth becomes very clear. There is no secret shortcut. The real secret is consistency over a long period of time. That may sound simple, but simple does not mean easy. Most people start learning English with excitement. They are motivated. They are inspired. They imagine themselves speaking fluently. For a few days or weeks, everything feels great. Then the excitement begins to fade. The lessons become repetitive. Progress feels slow. Mistakes continue happening. And many learners quit. This is where the difference between successful learners and unsuccessful learners becomes clear. Successful learners continue after the excitement disappears. They continue after motivation fades. They continue when progress feels slow. They continue because they understand something important. Fluency is not built in a few weeks. Fluency is built through months and years of consistent practice. Think about learning to play a musical instrument. Nobody expects to become a great pianist after a few weeks. Nobody expects to master the guitar in 1 month. People understand that mastery requires time. Yet many learners expect English fluency to happen quickly. When it does not happen, they become discouraged. The truth is that language learning follows the same rules as every other skill. Time matters. Practice matters. Patience matters. The learners who become fluent are usually not the most talented. They are the most persistent. Another important truth is that fluency does not arrive all at once. Many learners imagine a magical day when suddenly they become fluent. That is rarely how it happens. Fluency grows gradually. One day you notice that listening feels easier. A few weeks later, reading becomes easier. Then speaking feels more comfortable. Then you realize you are thinking in English more often. The changes happen little by little. That is why many learners underestimate their own progress. They focus on what they still cannot do. Instead, focus on how far you have come. Remember the first day you started learning English. Remember how difficult everything felt. Now think about what you understand today. Think about the words you know. Think about the sentences you can create. That progress matters. Celebrate it. Another mistake many learners make is chasing perfection. They want perfect grammar, perfect pronunciation, perfect vocabulary, perfect fluency. But perfection is not the goal. Communication is the goal. You do not need perfect English to communicate successfully. You simply need English that allows you to express your ideas. Many fluent speakers still make mistakes. Even native speakers make mistakes. The goal is progress, not perfection. When you stop chasing perfection, learning becomes much more enjoyable. You become willing to make mistakes. You become willing to practice. You become willing to grow. And growth is what creates fluency. Now let's talk about patience. Patience is one of the most underrated skills in language learning. Many learners become frustrated because results take time. They compare themselves to others. They worry about their speed. They doubt themselves. But every learner has a unique journey. Some people progress quickly. Some people progress slowly. What matters is continuing. Imagine two learners. The first learner studies intensely for 1 month and then quits. The second learner studies 30 minutes every day for 2 years. Who becomes fluent? Almost always the second learner. Because consistency beats intensity. Small daily efforts create extraordinary long-term results. This is why learning at home can be so powerful. You control your schedule. You control your habits. You control your environment. You can build a routine that fits your life. You do not need perfect conditions. You simply need consistent action. Let's imagine a simple daily plan. Listen to English for 15 minutes. Read for 10 minutes. Speak for 10 minutes. Think in English throughout the day. Repeat tomorrow. Then repeat again. And again. And again. These habits may seem small, but over time, they transform your abilities. Remember, fluency is not built through one big effort. It is built through thousands of small efforts. Every sentence matters. Every page matters. Every conversation matters. Every day matters. And finally, I want you to remember this. Do not quit because progress feels slow. Trees grow slowly. Skills grow slowly. Confidence grows slowly. Fluency grows slowly. But slow growth is still growth. Every day you practice, you are becoming a stronger English speaker. Every day you continue, you are moving closer to your goal. One day you will listen to English and understand it naturally. One day you will read without translating. One day you will speak with confidence. One day you will realize that the English that once felt impossible now feels normal. And that day will not arrive because of luck. It will arrive because you showed up every day, because you practiced, because you stayed consistent, because you refused to quit. That is the real secret to becoming fluent at home. Not talent, not shortcuts, not magic, just consistent action, patience, and belief in yourself. Keep learning, keep practicing, keep speaking, and trust the process, because your future fluency is being built by the habits you practice today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.